Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to something that I'm sure has happened in the past. I just can't for the life of me recall it. It's a canyon change to the extreme. There was no getting around it, and there is no documentation of it. And let me explain to you why. Because there are certain processes, like the one that went on here, and those processes are based out of turning on Pandora, putting on, I think in this instance, it was the trip hop station. A little Portishead will get you really far. Putting on the Portishead and just going to wrench. Just getting your wrench on. So this is the potentially unprecedented. We're going to do a second ghost ride because I haven't had time to paint this. Also, like right now, it is still early. It is quite early. The sun is barely up. It's already in the 80s, but because it's in the 80s and it's very early in the morning, the humidity is like 70%. It's basically not painting weather because by the time you get to the afternoon, when it's 112, if you spray the spray paint, it just dries in the air. So you get these really chalky, blotchy, although actually that might work. Do we need to paint a zombie during the hot of the day? I don't know. Either way, what I did is I sat down. And by sat down, I mean I stood right here, right where I'm standing right now. And I guess the legacy of the zombie is that we put it together and take it apart over and over and over again. I jokingly said to an associate on Instagram while in process, I've got the Instagram going up over there, I was like, I feel like I've had this rig apart and back together 8 times. It's really not that far from, that's not that much of an exaggeration. It's been at least 5 completely apart and then back together again. So when we exist now, in the now, in betwixt where we are now and where we were then, I changed. Okay, let me break it down. Do you remember the little swoggle, the wiggle back and forth? We have changed no rear links. There's the amount, about that much. What I did change was every single rod end and hollow ball. I also changed in the front every single rod end and hollow ball because someone said on the Discord, try putting more triangulation in. And I did. I think they're 9mm spacers, so we're quite tight. So we've completely changed the geometry. The front upper links, I stretched them out to 84 lowers and 78 uppers. The front geometry is completely changed, which made the drive shaft not fit. So I had to replace the drive shaft, and by replace it, I mean go on Amazon and order the next step longer drive shaft, and Amazon sent me the exact same drive shaft that was already on the vehicle, despite the fact that it was supposed to be about 10mm longer. So what's on there now? Well, of course, it is that drive shaft, that cobbled together drive shaft that I built out of element parts to get to the right length, and you know what? It's just about perfect. So I guess it's going to stay. It is befitting of the zombie. I needed to raise the body. It was rubbing on the tires badly. Can you see the Frankenstein's neck going on right here and here? I only had one front mount. I had another rear mount, but the holes are already drilled. Those are wider. These are narrower. I had to cut this off of its legs, take the 2 legs that were cut off of this, and meld them on. It's a little more Frankenstein than zombie, but we're there. We've got a lower rod I managed to get the bumper on because the body is raised, so the body is up above the rails now. I had to completely tear the shocks down and rebuild them. They came in what we would call a Canyon care package, so they had to be look how smooth they are now. They were not smooth before. We were not getting the Canyon settle when we set things down. These are 0.8 pound, but they are 30mm long, so they give us a little bit shorter on the right and the front. The rears are 0.8 pound, regular length, which are like DriveTech softs. But because we changed the rod ends, we stretched the wheelbase out a little, so the shock laid down a little more, so we didn't have to go to We didn't have to use 0.4s. We can use the 0.8s laid down. This has pushed the wheelbase out to about 318, just short of 320. We fiddled with the steering to get more throw. Okay, so shocks, springs, all the links, all the rod ends, all the hollow balls, made a tray for the electronics, which made a stand. See, it's square under there. Just cut it to the same length, tapped it, made it a square. So this electronics tray is just a piece of 16th inch aluminum angle, cut down to allow clearance for the battery wire. Speed control there, receiver there. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's an OD3 on an adapter cut out of Delrin. And does it fit as well as the gearbox that was in there before? No, it absolutely fits better. Because I was making the adapter, it allowed me to nudge the gearbox over into the center, which means the drive shaft is equally far from the screw as the motor is on that side. So I basically just centered it. It's also a loud boy, isn't it? Nothing wrong here. Also, we have much more reduction in the OD3 versus what we had in what I'm just calling the Amazon lightweight box. I'm not 100% sure what they're actually called. So the 2000, way more manageable. And for those that have been paying attention, OD3, 18% internal underdrive. So, honestly, shouldn't have to fiddle with anything. You will also notice axial ripsaws. I don't know. Something about him says to me sub 465. Like 445, 455. Ripsaws are 4.3. So close to a class 1. But we have definitely noticed in the past that there is a massive difference between a 4.3 and a 4.2. Tenth of an inch, right? 2.5 millimeters. We're not talking, and also now you kind of have to, because the front body mount is cobbled together, and I don't think I got all of the holes drilled perfectly straight. They went together better than I thought they would, but it is not optimal. So we are going to get a second. We're getting Ghost Ride 2 out of this. I haven't scanned the masks. I haven't even decided if I'm going to scan the masks. I might do the true ultimate laziness, which is you leave the overspray mask on the outside. You put your window masks on the inside. You paint your base colors on the inside. Then you peel your window masks off the inside, stick them on the outside, and then paint the vehicle on the outside. It's a zombie. It needs that, what does Element call it? The scratch and weather, weather and scratch, weather and wear, scratch and wear, whatever they call it. He needs that paint job on the outside thing. And also, there's just something about, here's what it is. I don't want to cut these fenders off. Because if you cut those fenders off, I think it just, let me grab one of these. I think it just basically turns into this. It's got a little more tuck to it, but without those fenders, yeah, we got a ridgy bed. The roof's a little different. I've got the panel around here somewhere. Right there. It's got its hat. So he'll have his little hat. Oh, look at a little hat. But I didn't want to cut the fenders off. And I think to get this thing performing the way we would like it, with the fenders still on it, we have to go to a smaller tire. And we had to raise the body. So that is just touching the fender at full. And that is just touching the fender at full. Stretching the front and rear, as you can see, put the tires dead smack center in the middle of the wheel wells. It is, and as I mentioned, we can get a bumper in the front. Look at that guy notched it. Look at that. Look at that. That's nice. That fits right in there. That's really going to protect the front end. I still don't know if I cut quite enough out of it. Yeah, that body mount is like 1 or 2 millimeters higher than that side. I will order a new mount at some point. It shouldn't be that arduous to change it. It will be slightly arduous, but it shouldn't be that bad. We should have, here's what I'm hoping. As always, what I'm hoping is that we will see some increase in performance. I thought he was pretty good considering, and I'm hoping against hope that we have made changes that will benefit the rig overall. The only mounted up set of Canyon trails I have are these, but I am very tempted to I'm just gonna do it. We'll grab the bag, we'll toss them in there. The inserts in these are very, very soft. Just regular 105s. I dug through the bin trying to decide what to put on him, and I was like, how many sets of 105s do we have? A lot. This was a tester wheel set, but it's all scale hardware, so if they get donated to this guy and they turn out to be this guy's thing, great. If we're running Canyon trails, I'm probably going to switch whatever tire it is. We'll probably just go on these. These will probably just be his wheels moving forward. I don't want anything flashy. I don't want anything pretty. His paint job is going to be a little Mad Maxy, post-apocalyptic. Well, that will be the goal. So we're going to see if we can get there. We've got a second set of tires to test should the Ripsaws not be the jam, because the Ripsaws just have J-Concept single-stage Class 1 foams inserted into them. So they're they have a tiny little bag, like I said, 2.5 millimeters. They have a tiny little bag. They feel a little firm. They feel a little on the firm side because what we've not done, so we'll do it together. I weighed him before. He is now 2218. So that wheel set a little heavier. Oh, I put brass rings in the front. I forgot. So no, he weighs exactly the same as he did before, maybe a little bit less. I don't know how we would have taken weight off. Oh, I did. Yeah. Thank you for asking. I weighed the OD3. The OD3 weighs 72 grams, which is plenty light. The little, what I call the Amazon lightweight, weighs 49 grams. That is a very light gearbox. Will I sacrifice, what did I say, 23 grams? Will I sacrifice 23 grams to get 18% underdrive to the rear wheels? Absolutely. 1,000% I will, and I did, and I would do it again. So, we're going to take them out to the rocks. We're going to give them a shake on, I mean, if these do great, we don't need to put the Canyon trails on. But we'll probably end up putting the Canyon trails on. Come on, let's be honest about it. So the Zombie gets Ghost Ride number 2. Proof that a zombie, because zombie doesn't have a soul, right? And a ghost is a soul. How do we Ghost Ride a zombie? We just do it. We go out to the rocks and we attempt to do the things. Another added bonus of those 4.3s, those little baby Ripsaws, is they drop the overall speed. I have to set cruise control at plus 70, which is pretty low. Okay, which means we've dropped the top speed by a lot. Okay, before cruise control would have been set like 45, 55. So we've dropped the speed probably 20% between gearbox change and tire change. Still, it's a little snappy. Oh yeah. Okay. Those Ripsaws have been sitting on the bench just waiting. And also, we're out here kind of testing a theory that I didn't 100% know that I originally had, which is if we've got big breakover, I think we can get away with the smaller tire. As long as approach is okay, departure is going to be determined by how much of that body is hanging out past the back tire. Does a little push. I want to stay on it. Is that gonna flop over? How far will it go? Okay. All right. Okay, so another rig in that 2,200 gram area where apparently, if you're 2,200 grams or below, you don't have to get crazy on the inserts. Just put some foam in there. He will not pick up any sprung weight moving forward. I could see altering the unsprung in that, like, spend $45 and buy some bigger knuckle weights. Take those knuckles off, take the brass rings out, have the same amount of weight, but move it out of rotating. That would be about the extent of it. But as he is the zombie, I'm not mad about what's going on here at all. Will that go? Yeah. Just got to get that right there. He's nice. He's nice. What am I noticing more than anything? I don't know how much of the swoggle, which was horrific on this and was apparently entirely from those rod ends, and I think this is what it was. It's all flooding back to me from the build process. The hollow balls were 5.6 millimeters in diameter, in diameter. Most are 5.7, then there's 5.8s, 5.9, 6.0s. There was just this amount of play in the rod ends. Like, maybe if I had just switched out the rod ends or switched out the hollow balls, I could have tightened it up. But I wanted to get the tires centered in the wheel wells. F10 turns in so hard. He's got this descending stability that is delightfully unexpected. He's doing the thing. We have a little bit of Spirit of Rusty here, which is tire, small. Capability, high. Feels, honestly, yeah, I know there's the 18%. I don't know how much of it is readily apparent in the visual, but the feel on ascending and descending is transformed. This is a different thing now. Those 90s on there, those GTS are perfect. I would not change them. Honestly, I'm like, oh wait, oh, that's way too high. I'll go right about there. That's a 25. Little turn in, little turn in. Whee! We're careful now. So there's no limit on the reverse. So a self-right can get proper violent. Yeah, this guy is A-okay and all right. Yeah, I'm on board. The amount of times he gets hung up is so much smaller than I would anticipate. Could we get away with just a class 1? I mean, probably, yeah. Yeah. I like all right, it comes down to what it comes down to. I like the look of those ripsaws on there. They're 4.3s, they're not full class 1s, but you know what? I'm doing that thing where you sarcastically look around. I don't see Sorka anywhere out here. I can run whatever tire I want on whatever I want. Pause here before heading over to Daphne's to see if what do we got? Is the 18% doing all of the thing? We got pushed over a little bit. We've got the wheel speed of a 2000. We might as well use it. 2000 on straights is not ordinarily something I would do. I like to be in that like 12 to 1400 range. He's getting away with it though. Oh. Maybe I don't want to mess with the knuckles. It's a thing. All right? We're not building every rig to be just the end all and the be all of performance. This guy is good. He's really good. And all he's got to do is tickle it. He's got to pass the condo test, and does absolutely. See, we'll hang a pumpkin right there, but then we can we'll just get it around right there. The zombie OMG servo is doing the thing. Let me try going in tight side right here. Is it standards too high? Like, are we fussing? Oh, that was a good settle down. Are we fussing where fussing is not warranted? I am happy with the performance that I'm getting right here. I'm so happy that the ripsaws work. Though I do have a set of Class 1 megalithics in there, and now I'm thinking about the Class 1 megalithics. There is, I don't know if you noticed, we're getting a little bonking, but there are the normal Lexan noises, but there are no angry Lexan noises. I have quite literally no complaints. I'm just pretty happy overall. I feel like when I do the Ghost Ride 1, there's generally not a Ghost Ride 2. But when I do Ghost Ride 1, there's a little checklist going up about what needs fixed. And brake over. Nice. Invariably, I feel like I forget a lot of it. And then I'm in there working away on the bench, and am I addressing the things that need to be addressed? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We know. We all know. If we're looking, we're seeing. Does he have the absolute unstoppable amount of forward drive? No. Is that the tire? Yes. Axial still claiming that 1.9 Ripsaw is R35, which is unbelievable because these are on a performance level well above anything else R35. Couldn't quite get it around. Oh, that's iffy. We'll go the other way. So the thing is, 435, 445, 455 are not common tire sizes. I think honestly, I think it's a 445. Basically, a 4.5-inch tire is the tire. But I'm not mad about how the Ripsaws are doing at all. Nice and stable. Because that skid is so far forward, the front axle is acting way, way heavier than it actually is. There's a and I get brass rings. We close our eyes, we spun around 3 times, we threw a dart, and we hit we hit the metal that goes around the outer ring of the bullseye, and the dart bounced off the board. But we could have hit the bullseye. At least the outer ring. I don't know about the inner ring. We could have hit that outer ring. But I saw these tires on the rack, and I was like, those are the ones. Those are the tires. I'm just happy the cobbled front drive shaft is holding together. Right there, that drive right there, makes me just want to say wonderful, blissful things about the Ripsaws, because that's absolutely solid right there. And they have that nice directional pull to them, where when the tire is yawed way over, you still get that pull across. Can I get the front end clear of that? Almost. The OMG, everything about this experience is pleasantly surprising. We were fabricobbling. We were just slapping parts on and going, can we tweak this to get it at least in the neighborhood of where we want to go? And I think somehow it happened. It's that the whole is more than the sum of the parts. That's sort of a situation. I don't think I did anything explicitly. It's that, you know, rebuilding the shocks, they had a little stickiness to them. They might have, I don't remember which shocks they are. They might have been Traxxas. A nameless, faceless factory worker in Southeast Asia might have built those shocks. They're better now, but I would hope that they would be. The link lengths are cooperating. We stretch the front 2 millimeters. We stretch the rear about, I want to say about 8 millimeters. So we've got an even bigger front to rear split, so it's even more skid forward now. It's just, is it a zombie? Yes. But is it also nice? It's nice. And I definitely don't anticipate a reduction in side hill ability. I mean, to the point that we're gonna drop into yellows backwards. Let's see how this goes. Really nice, really nice. We're gonna get to the unload spot right there. A little smudge. Okay, turning up is flop maneuver. There it is. It has a predictability that on a number of recent builds we don't have. Would I trade overdrive for dig? I have proven in the past that I would. Will I trade predictability for stability? Yes. If you're going to be wild, but I know where you're going to try to go, I'm okay with that. Nice. See, no rear slip. Yep. And he's going wheels like every time. I think that's an additional advantage of, well, a shorter tire is a shorter sidewall, so there are definitely benefits there. I got to find the spot right here. There it is. Yeah, you can kind of tell. No lift there. Skid forward. Here's the thing. I think that we go against the grain either intentionally or incidentally a lot of the time when it comes to like cobble builds like this. There are things that can be done with parts and or geometry to help you reduce sidewall height. Sidewall height is where compliance comes from, but a lot of it, but it's also where instability comes from. We've got here, and when I say we, I mean the royal we as well, because I'm talking to some of you unknown. We're all guilty of grabbing a rig, throwing portals on it, and then putting like 475s, 525s on it. And now we've got a monumental amount of ground clearance at an almost direct trade-off in CG. And then we've got a 475 or a 525 on a portal. And now we've got a bunch of sidewall that wants to flop over. These little guys, I just got to get the body clear. Snake hip it through. This guy, straight axles, 4.3s, CG, just automatically lowered. You put a proper built LCG, but that's on portals and like say 465s, there's nothing that rig can do. There's no amount of weight it can throw at it to get the CG as low as this guy's just ordinarily sits. He's just that much closer to the ground. And I know class 1 guys are just going, yeah, okay, and we've known this forever. So we don't have the advantage of portals here. I'm going to swing around this way. We'll do like a bow tie here. We don't have the advantage of portals here. But what we do have the advantage of is right there, as you see, the wasp waist. We can swing that thing over. Oh, I had to get so far out before that gave way. I am enjoying this 2000 on this gearing. Do I remember what pinion I put inside the OD3, you ask? No, it was small. Like maybe a 12 or a 13. It's a little Amazon, you know, the Amazon like Amogot bag of pinions. If it turns out to be the guy, then we'll buy a proper one. I think I have a Robinson 13. It might be a 12. It might be an 11. I think it's a 12. Yeah, his forward drive is it's plenty. It's plenty enough. I'm not mad about it at all. Raising the body was absolutely the correct 100% the correct choice. I think the body would have to go up one more post hole to properly clear like a 465, and I kind of made the post for this height. We build to bodies a lot. Whoa. Okay, we definitely have servo. I don't know what it's making for torque, but it's making an appreciable amount. It's not fast nor quiet, but it will throw this guy's front end around. Look at, that's all servo. That's all skid forward. You see that fender rise? Just whoop. Look how, like, he thinks he's level. He doesn't even know. It's so nice. He's nice because he drives like he's got way more clearance, but he also drives like his CG is way, way, way down. So he doesn't get out of shape. There's a predictability. There's the stability afforded by low CG, but there's the predictability afforded by, I have to assume, the geometry. The fact that there is not a ton of sprung weight. Look at that right through there. Point and shoot. He's as good as at that little cutback as anybody. So stable. But stable, not via geometry, just stable because the weight, what there is of it, what is that, 2200 is, we're sub 5 pounds, right? I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, should be. 2.2, it's 2200, that's 2.2 times 2.2, is that right? That's not right. Somebody will figure it out. I'm brushing ants off my feet. I don't know if I'm over the moon, but I'm near the moon. Oh, we're just overwhelming the holding ability of the previously overheated 2000 kV Yellow Jacket. This right here, that amount of can't quite hold you. Like we're very near the electronic anchor, but we don't quite have it. That amount is perfectly acceptable. I'm not quibbling at all. The funniest thing about this whole experience, both short and long as it may be, apart so many times, back together so many times, is that I'm not mad at any of the involved gear. It's absolutely fine. It is absolutely fine. He's proper good. And to build this gent, we purchased the $55 chassis, which we're now not using the gearbox from. The OD3 was the OD3 from one of the twins. And we had to buy 4 stainless steel drive shafts, and we are using 1 of the stainless steel drive shafts. The Mias is in there. So I have a matching set for something else that will be skid forward in the future, or an FMM if I need one. So it's not like the parts are going to go to waste. I'm just saying that the tires were here, the rims were here. I bought the body, not specifically, and like the Zombie had not formed as an idea when that body was purchased, but we'll throw it in there. This is a good build. This build is nice. That 18%, I don't know what it is exactly that turned him from I'm seeing the problems to this guy is nice. Maybe it's a collaborative effort. Maybe it's the 18%. Maybe it's the 4.3s. Maybe it's the rebuilding the shocks and resetting the body height. Maybe it's altering the links and stretching the geometry and changing the link mount positions. A lot of it was done, yes, categorically, willy-nilly. I got the front upper link and I was like, oh, it fits in that hole. And I put it in that hole. I wasn't looking about for anti-dive or anti-squat. I wasn't looking at it in any sort of a tuned perspective. I was just putting parts together to get the thing to hopefully do the thing. And here we are. He's good. Next time you see him, he'll be painted. Look at that through there. That push was all me. Right here, through here. Oh, that's nice. He's a good zombie. He's a good boy. We had a good time. I don't know if you had a good time, but I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I hope you came along for the ride. I thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I look forward to seeing you in the comments below during the live streams. Shoot me an email. Look up the Discord. I like talking about toy cars to people who also like talking about toy cars. So we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. In between now and then, please win and I'll do your very best. Have a good one. We'll see you again here from the canyon. The zombie has got Mavericks coming up pretty soon. He's going right into the deep end. We'll see how a guy on 4.3s does out at the course that likes to break people. That comes later. We're done for now. I'll see you next time. His torque twist is absolutely minimum. He's just nice.